Hey guys, this is MGS Warrior 2, and I finally have another Pokemon online battle to share with you all today. And I'm up against SkiZo, who is running a rain team. His Politoed starts off with Protect to scout my first move, but unfortunately for him, I use Substitute on my Kyurem. This is a Sub-Kyurem that I'm using. I decided to go Dragon Pulse to get as much damage as I could on the Politoed, and Politoed tried to break the sub with Scald, which is not very effective. So Kyurem still has the Substitute intact. I decided to go for another Dragon Pulse, but he switched into his Jirachi, which is a Steel type and resists Dragon moves. That was a good play. I decided to try a Focus Blast, but missed. So Jirachi went for the Thunder, and that broke Kyurem's sub. I decided to switch out, predicting another Thunder. So I go out into my Mamoswine, and that is going to be immune to the Thunder. So that was a smart play on my part. I decided to set up Stealth Rock, but it wasn't so smart to do that at that time because I forgot Jirachi had Water Pulse. So I decided to switch into my Kingdra to take the Water Pulse. But unfortunately, my Kingdra became confused. I wanted to get rid of that confusion, so I switched into my Lapras, who is the special wall on my team, but it's weak against Thunder. So after taking two Thunders, I decided to set up a Curse so that I can attack with a powered up Waterfall on my next turn. So Jirachi hit a third Thunder, and now is my chance to get off one Waterfall on this Jirachi, but it only did almost half. So now his Jirachi is going to take down my Lapras with a fourth Thunder. So my Lapras wasn't too useful in this battle. So I decided to send out my Scarf Abomasnow to get an Earthquake off on the Jirachi and to set up Hail. Jirachi went for the super effective and stab Ironhead, and that almost takes out my Frosty. But he switches to Vaporeon, not wanting to lose his Jirachi to another Earthquake. And that was a great play because Vaporeon is a physical wall that takes Earthquake really well. And I decided to switch back into my Kingdra to take the Scald, but unfortunately Scald got the burn on my Kingdra, so Outrage is going to do less damage. This is my Life Orb Kingdra, and it's mixed. So he switched into his Politoed again. I decided to set up a Dragon Dance. Since I'm burned, I needed the extra attack boost. And now I decided to go for Outrage, trying to make the best out of my Kingdra before it goes down to burn. His Politoed went for the Encore, so I have to keep going for Outrage anyways because it's a continuous move of up to 2 to 3 turns. So lucky for me, I got the crit with Outrage on his Jirachi, which I believe was needed to take it out. But unfortunately, he switched into his Toxicroak to get the Sucker Punch to finish off my Kingdra. And this time I send in my Reuniclus. So I predicted that he'd substitute, so I went for Psychic and I broke his sub. I don't want to let this Toxicroak set up or else I'm in for a world of pain. So he decided to go for Sucker Punch, and that was super effective, but I take out his Toxicroak with a Psychic. Now here comes his Gastrodon, who went for the Surf, and that nearly took out my Gastrodon. I decided to trick my Flame Orb onto that Gastrodon, thinking that this Gastrodon is mixed. Maybe it has Earthquake, I'm not sure, but in any event, it took out my Reuniclus with another Surf. So I decided to switch into my Scarf Abomasnow, go for the Grass Knot, ×4 super effective, that one hit KO'd it. Now here comes his Espeon. It's time for me to switch back into my Kyurem. It took a Psychic pretty decently. So now it's time to set up a substitute if I could, but he's onto that already, so he decided to break that sub with Psychic. So the same move isn't going to work twice. So I might as well get an attack off. I went for Dragon Pulse to get a damage on this Espeon. So it looks like my Kyurem is going to win this battle with this Espeon. I get off another Dragon Pulse, and down goes Espeon. So now he sends out his other Eevee evolution, his Vaporeon. I decided to Dragon Pulse that. So now it's time to go for another Dragon Pulse after taking a Scald. But Kyurem wasn't able to do that because the burn killed it off. So he switched out his Vaporeon and went into his Politoed. So I went for the Grass Knot, super effective to finish off Politoed. And he has no choice but to switch back into his Vaporeon, his final Pokemon. I take that out with a Grass Knot as well. And that was a good game, SkiZo. That was a close match. I won 2-0. So thank you all for watching my Pokemon Online battle with SkiZo. Comment, like, sub, and I'll see you guys next time.